I soon realized no person on the planet couldn't imagine the pain and suffering I had to go through. I think if I'd had the choice, I would have died back in intensive care if I could, but no, I had to go through a journey not anyone could do.
I got home at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening. Was fanning around in the house, making phone calls because my car was on the rocks and I needed a new car. Well, actually, when I drove up, I saw Howard's bedroom light was on, so I parked just below the house. I thought, oh, Howard's home, and didn't think any more of it. And I was in the house probably 2 hours before I went upstairs. And as I walked towards Howard's bedroom, I saw that he was laying on the floor, shaking, naked, on the floor, unconscious. And I just thought, shit, what's happened? So his breathing was very laboured, say freezing cold, eyes rolling in his head, shaking. So I rang the ambulance. They talked me through a couple of bits and pieces while the ambulance was on its way. While I was talking to them, I was covering him up because he was so cold, and she said to sit him up a bit because his breathing wasn't very good. So I pulled him off because his head was on a cupboard on a bottom shelf of a chest of drawers, which Howard said afterwards, wasn't it? That wasn't one of the best things I did because your head had been resting on there since the morning. He had a shower when he got up, and whenever he made it to school, of course, he collapsed as soon as he came out of the shower. So they rushed him into ICU, and then put him in an induced coma just to let the brain sort of recover from the injury that it had. I forget how long you were in the coma for now, a few days, I suppose. And they were doing pain tests and things like that, which are vile, to see if there's any reaction from him, to see if he twitched or he'd trying to move himself away, and of course he couldn't. They said to us that he didn't know anything from the moment he had the stroke. He wouldn't remember anything from the moment he had the stroke until now. He doesn't know. He doesn't even know you're here. He wouldn't have known anything. I was sort of talking to Howard while I was doing bits and pieces, and I just sort of looked at him and said, Howard, I know you're in there. I said, you can beat this fucking thing. And his eyes stopped rolling and just fixed, stared at me. He just stared at me for 5, 6, 7 seconds or so. And I thought, you're in there. You know what I'm saying. He knew straight away. So I went back home and told Joe, sorry, I'm a bit emotional about this now. You'll find that funny. So I went back home to Joe, full of hope, really. He knows where he is. He's in there. He knows. Um, so when we came down early the next morning, we saw the consultant. I said, are you sure that Howard, 99% sure, are you 100% sure that he knows nothing about this? He said, well, I'm 99.9% sure. I said, well, I'm sticking to that little 0.1 because I know he's in there. So the next day they did some more tests, not so much pain tests anymore, because once they thought he might actually be aware, they stopped sticking things on you and bending you around and trying to hurt you and gripping you in places. So they started doing, can you close your eyes for so many seconds? Can you keep your eyes open for so many seconds? Which he could, of course, he understood that and started doing. And they realised, yeah, no, he knows exactly what's going on. So that was a major step. Joe's mum, Howard's mum, Jo, put her story, how she felt it happened for her, onto a website for Howard, and started up a website through local people. And Howard's the football club that Howard played for, the owner, a guy called Jeff Lloyd, read this and was working with a guy called Neil Tregarthen in business, and showed Neil this letter that he'd read and said it was so terrible. And Neil decided he was going to start a trust for Howard. So he opened up a trust and said if there's any medical advances anywhere in the world, Howard will have it. So if next week there was an operation in Canada that Howard's brain could be rewired and it would cost £250,000, he'd fly Howard out there, and rewire Howard's brain for him. Howard has various facial expressions and eye movements that he does to convey what he's trying to say. When Howard looks up, it means yes, and when he looks down, it means no. If his eyes go up and down quite quickly, it means I want to say something. If he has a wide-eyed thing, it means I don't know. If he's got an itch, his eyes will go from side to side, and you have to then find out where you've got cross-eyed. If he goes cross-eyed, it's technology. You want something that he has that's technical, like his eye gaze computer, or his iPad, or his iPhone. That's basically his most of the things he does with his eyes that you need to know. To be honest, we've been fairly good at that from the start, Howard, haven't we? Even in Bath, I picked up. Howard, another thing, Howard never agrees with anything I said or I say. If I tell him orange juice is orange, he'll say no, it's green, or it's. He never agrees with anything I say. But I think personally, even in Bath, fairly early on, we were quite. No, we weren't. No, I'm talking bollocks, aren't I? But even I get things fairly quick with you when we're doing food and stuff. You've only got to look towards the fridge and I think tomato sauce, so you want some sauce on it. It's things like that. I always think about food now. I'm like, oh. I was getting near tea time. This is the Mega B. This is Howard's main communication device, really, which Howard will look at the coloured squares on the board to spell things out. So if he was going to spell out my name, which is Jez, Howard would look at white, so I press white, and then he would look at red. Oh, sorry, blue. No, he wouldn't. Let's try that again. This is weird when you try to do it the other way around. Howard would look at white because the J is in white, and then he'll go to green because the J is green. He would then go to blue because the E for the second part of my name is in blue. He'll then go to black because the E is black, and that's how you spell out. Howard has his eye gaze computer supplied by Smartbox. Again, fantastic bit of equipment, hasn't it? It picks up what they call your glint in your eye. It has two little cameras focusing on Howard's eyes at the bottom, which then the lens then picks up Howard's eye in the middle, and Howard moves the cursor around with his eyes, which is Howard's window to the world, really.
Basically, not moving your hands or not speaking is the biggest problem I have had. My physical test is asking my muscles to learn some things people say it can't be done. At the time I wrote this, I had no belief left. Now I have, so don't worry. I happened to get to the point I was gonna give up this nightmare. I would look round at the pictures of what I used to be, and now all I really have been memories helping me get forward. I'm not 17 anymore. All I had on my mind was trying out different ways to put a stop to all this, but obviously I can't with being assisted, so I put my brain to the test of finding someone right in the end of all that I found out it's illegal. So finally I knew I had to just work super mega hard to pull off a miracle. If there's something I would say is never ever take advice from pros, doctors, SLT, nurses. Just believe your views and opinions. No one knows your ambition. Like ambition now is to get better, write a book, meet a girl, have kids, and so on and so forth.